Hey, good morning. I'm Patricia Murphy. It's Friday. This is Seattle Now. This week, Seattle took to the streets to celebrate the Seahawks and left a big mess in their wake. The state legislature is looking into removing the penny from cash transactions. And if you're still out there making last-minute Valentine's Day plans, why not try a heart-shaped pizza? We're breaking down the week with Seattle Times food writer Vinh and Rachel Horgan, host of the Weekly podcast. But first, let's get you caught up. By now, you know you've got to plan ahead for construction if you're going to travel on I-5. Crews will start work in Shoreline on Monday. Look for closures on 5th Avenue Northeast between Northeast 145th Street and the northbound I-5 on-ramp. The on-ramp will stay open for now, but that'll change in late March. All of this, of course, to build a roundabout on the 145th overpass. Mark your calendar. This year's Apple Cup will be played earlier than ever before. The rivalry game between UW and Wazoo football teams is set for September 5th at Husky Stadium, the first game of the new season for each team. It used to be played in November, but moved to September after the University of Washington left the Pac-12 for the Big Ten Conference in 2024. The two teams have agreed to hold the Apple Cup through at least 2028. And if you're still looking for something to do this long Valentine's Day weekend, here are some options. The Northwest Film Forum is showing contemporary films by Muslim filmmakers at the Sakana Film Festival, or maybe welcome in the Year of the Horse with a Sunday comedy show at Laughs Comedy Club, or Gala by UW's Chinese Student Association at Kane Hall. We're back with more headlines on tonight's episode of Seattle Now. It's Friday again, Friday the 13th, a double jinx for Murphy. So be careful out there. Stay alert for black cats, ladders, and stuff. Vinh is here. He's a Seattle Times food writer. Always good to see you.
Great to see you, Trish.
Rachel Horgan's back. She's the host of The Weekly, a podcast about business in Seattle. Rachel, really good to see you.
Great to be back.
You guys worried about Friday the 13th before we move forward a little bit?
Honestly, I did not think about it until you just started talking and told me. So now I am.
I know. I didn't even think about it. Thanks, Trish.
My Murphy work is done. All right, you two, before we dive in, cue the flowers and chocolates. It's time to celebrate love. Valentine's Day is tomorrow. We talked about some romantic dining options, but we missed this tasty gem. Starting today through the weekend, Big Mario's is delivering heart-shaped pizzagrams to your special someone. You can even put a message in the box. Now, I love pizza, and I am also not very picky about it, but I have to ask you two, does the quality of the pie matter less because it's in the shape of a heart? Now, Rachel, I'm going to ask you first because you're business type.
Well, I am a food expert, right? I think it's all about the thought that counts.
Yeah.
And, with Christmas, we always make our list of what we want. People get gift cards. Valentine's Day, you really got to think of what does my person want? And, I think a heart-shaped pizza would be a nice surprise. As long as you figure out if they want pineapple or not, that's the controversial one. You can't get that wrong.
A pepperoni pizza shaped like a heart is still a pepperoni pizza. Yeah. What are we, in high school? Yeah. No.
You're going no.
It's like, this does not get you off the hook. It gets you in trouble. You didn't make reservation at Canlis. You're too cheap to buy champagne, you cheap bastard. No, unless you're 16, this does not count. I'm sorry.
Man. I'm a cheap one to win over, I think.
All right, well, solo travelers in the mood to get out can check out the Chaotic Singles Party tomorrow night. And check this out. If you invite someone you matched with on a dating app, they get a discount. You can invite as many matches as you want. I don't know. What do you think about that? Chaos for Valentine's Day?
I'm perpetually single, so to me, this sounds kind of fun. Also, I'm gay, so this just sounds like a regular lesbian night out. We've all dated each other.
I read this. I thought it was a joke. I didn't understand it. Is this like, I'm too old, I'm get off my lawn? Because what do the kids call it? Ethical non-monogamy? Where you invite multiple people to a Valentine's event? And how does that work? You invite 4 people and you don't talk to one person?
You just mix and mingle. I think there's so much dating app fatigue. I think people are so tired of it. And so if there's something where we can meet somebody in person, I've seen a lot more speed dating, a lot more singles mixers. So I think this is just another one of those, see what happens. Bring whoever.
Oh my gosh. It is all about the drama. All right, moving on to the big story this week. The Seahawks are Super Bowl champions. And can I just say, as the host of this show, I am so freaking glad we are talking about a win this week and not a loss. chaos because what an amazing moment for the city and the fans. The streets were packed Sunday night, then again for the massive parade on Wednesday. City of Seattle worked pretty hard to try and scare people away from driving downtown. 20 streets closed, SPD basically begging people not to drive in, encouraging transit instead, even projecting that 1 million people would show up to celebrate the team. What did you two think when you heard that number?
We are just obsessed with like how we can quantify stuff, right? 1 million has this currency, and it's really important. And it's too bad because why can't we just, if it's just a parade, people are celebrating, we have great fans and be done with. We have to say 1 million people showed up. It's so important. It's a big controversy in the Seattle Times because we wrote about this.
Yeah, I read that article. It's interesting because it came out before the parade, so it was projected at 1 million. And when I looked deeper into it, I don't know if people know this, but Seafair is actually in charge of producing these big parades. Anytime a sports team wins a big thing, they plan that parade. So they had to plan this whole thing, whether or not it was going to happen or not, because they obviously can't do it in 2 days. Anyway, they are the ones that put the 1 million, and it was on their permit. So as an event planner myself, I'm thinking that it's better to estimate high. They probably got more police officers because of that number. They, restaurants were more able to prepare. Insurance, all of that comes back to the number of people, and they probably just estimated high. And I don't know, maybe that got out of hand and people just started spreading that around.
When I was a general assignment reporter, I had to cover a lot of protests and parades, and I would call the Seattle police. And back then, they had a policy. We do not do crowd estimates. And I didn't understand what the big deal was, so I had to cover an MLK parade march. And I said, I'll take this initiative. I'll just stay on this block, and I'm going to do an estimate myself. Well, my estimate was like 10,000 people less than what organizers said there was. And I stand by my number, but oh man, the calls started coming.
The Seattle Times, as you said, Ton, did some of the math. 1 million people would be 1 in 4 people in all of King, Pierce, and Snohomish counties. That's 1 in 8 people in the entire state of Washington. The 2014 parade also had an estimate of 1 million people, but the Times says crowd estimation experts said it actually came closer to 250 to 450,000. Here's the truth. The trains and buses were absolutely packed on Wednesday. Trains out of Linwood were too full to even take passengers on in Northgate in some cases.
But this reminds me, Rachel, you follow business. I think we underestimate how important these things are when a whole team wins a championship. Because, not to be all kumbaya, but it unites us in a lot of ways, even when you're not a football fan. And we talked about this, Trish, how slow it is for restaurants during the dead of winter. Except they have Valentine's Day, and that's when restaurants do booming business. Bars don't have that unless your team wins the Super Bowl.
Yeah, absolutely. And more than bars, too. All those places that are downtown, people stopping in to get, a little boutique of some kind, candle, whatever, what have you. They're all benefiting from it.
We did a show this week about how that even helps you emotionally, being a fan of a team in this moment together, celebrating. It's a big emotional lift. And it's true. People were all over downtown, climbing on all sorts of structures. People were riding horses. I saw a video of a pony with a dyed mane. People seem to be having a really, really good time. Even players hopped off their parade cars to sign autographs. Taking a swig off a fan's tequila bottle, probably wouldn't do that. One fan threw his phone to wide receiver Jake Bobo, and they were mugging for his video. That worked out, but maybe you should not throw things at Seahawks players.
Okay, we're pretty tame compared to fans in Detroit and Philadelphia.
We broke the pergola, Tom.
And this is what my impression the last time the Seahawks won the Super Bowl. I saw it on TV. Crowds were going crazy. But they're waiting for the sign to get on to walk. They would not even jaywalk. They waited for it to say walk before they ran across the street and started jeering.
Politely celebrating.
No other city does that. This is so Seattle. It's so Portlandia in a lot of ways.
Philly gets really out of hand.
Oh, gosh. I mean, you don't want to park your car near the stadium. They will jump on your car. They will burn your car.
Philly is something. Philly is something.
Well, I am glad I saw there was no arrest, and it was all cleaned up afterwards, so I am proud of us, Seattle.
Yeah, good, clean fun. Seattle Public Schools decided not to excuse absences for the parade. I have to ask you, you're not parents, as far as I know. Is it okay to let your kid go to the victory parade instead of school?
Not parents, but we have opinions, don't we? I don't know. I mean, I saw a kid that threw his football to a Seahawks player, signed it, and got it back, and I feel like he's probably going to remember that forever. I don't know if every kid is passionate about going to the parade, but sure, I don't know. It's one day, right?
It's a blue flu.
So I'm not a Seahawks fan. So I was jogging. So around 1 o'clock, there were tons of people near light rail, high school kids in Seahawks jersey. There was no school on Wednesday. I'm sorry. I do not. It was, it was like senior skip day or whatever you call that.
Oh,
so
yeah.
no.
I saw news anchor Joyce Taylor this week saying that one of her biggest regrets as a parent was not letting her son go to the last parade. And she's advised parents to let their kids skip school and go. So
I support it.
I saw a lot of kids out there having a really good time. And special shout out to the group of teams photographed by the Times. They found a couch a few blocks away and decided to move it right up against the barricade to have a nice view. And of course, Rachel, you brought up cleanup crews who were out there. They definitely had a few couches in their truck by the end of the cleanup. Another special shout out to Seahawks linebacker Ernest Jones IV, who had some words for those outside of the city.
If you got anything to say about my quarterback, you got anything to say about my defense, you got anything to say about my O-line, and you got anything to say about the city of Seattle, I got 2 words for you.
You can probably guess what those 2 words were, and hint, it is not go Seahawks. I don't know. Seattle is known for being a bit passive-aggressive. Should we be taking notes about this response? Because I feel like it was aggressive. Does this serve us?
Yeah, I think it reminds me of that Brene Brown quote where it's like, if you're not in the arena, working your ass off, then I don't want to hear your feedback. And that's kind of what he was saying.
Yeah.
I don't really care about your opinions. We did it. So there. So I think there's some of that I think we can all take.
So take that. Take that. All right. Fans also hit the streets Sunday night. They broke the pergola in Pioneer Square again, just like back in 2014. People were standing on top of it celebrating. Seattle Parks Foundation is asking for $12 donations to help fix it up. Ton, we talked a little bit about Philly, but why do people feel like climbing things when their team wins the championship?
I don't understand the psychology of this, right? I don't understand. Is it because you want to be seen? So then you have to hop in a car like most other cities do and just be high above?
Just wreck stuff. You want to wreck stuff.
I have no theories, but it is something that happens. They always want to climb stuff. Yes.
Even with all the excitement in the city, other people did not seem to enjoy our Super Bowl that much. Headlines in the New York Times, CNN, CBS called the Super Bowl boring and one of the worst of all time. Admittedly, there were not a lot of touchdowns, but there were a lot of fireworks for Seattle. Was the game boring? Is everybody just a hater?
Oh, I'm one of the haters. See, I'm not a Seahawks fan, so I thought the game was boring. Yeah, if I was a Seahawks fan, it would be great. We won. It's exciting, but I'm not a fan. And I was at a party and I just drank and ate and drank. I was so
It wasn't boring
boring.
for you. Yeah, you're having fun.
Fun party.
Yes, I did. I had a good time. It wasn't because of the game.
I kind of love it because I'm a big soccer fan. And everybody always says soccer is boring. Oh, really? Look who's calling football boring now. Because I can watch a soccer game that's, 1-0, 2-0, and I still like it because I like the art of the game. But football, not as much. I didn't realize they were doing fireworks after every scoring until like the very end. And we had a view of it. So I missed out on some of that.
There were also some high-profile bets around the big game. Shout out to WBUR in Boston, my old station, for providing KUOW with some Top Pot donuts and a fun public radio wager. Donuts were delicious, and thank you for keeping it local. Mayor Katie Wilson is getting a New England lobster from Boston Mayor Michelle Wu. Ton, you wrote about the owner of Moto Pizza getting a free first-class flight for a free slice of pizza in Connecticut. I don't know about Connecticut and pizza, but how good must that pizza taste, though?
You know what? I got to give a shout out to Frank Pepe's Pizzeria. They lost the bet, and the bet was not a first-class flight, but they splurged a first-class flight for this Seattle Pizzeria, the owner of the Seattle Pizzeria.
Very classy.
Yeah, and can I tell you, this is a good lesson if we go back to the Super Bowl for all the restaurants, because Lee Kendall of Moto Pizza, who won this bet, he got caught up in all the hype, and now he was like talking smack, and then once he settled down, he did the math in his head, and he's like, oh my God, if I lose this bet, it's going to cost me so much money. I don't think I can afford this. He was sweating bullets if they were one. So be careful what you bet on, people. But it's good publicity, right? He got a story out of Seattle Times.
Yeah.
I was just going to say, that's from a business perspective, that's great marketing. Whether you win or lose, how much money would you have spent on an advertisement during the Super Bowl, right? So
Exactly.
Here we are talking about them.
Exactly.
Moving on to our next topic, things are happening in the state legislature, and we're asking for your 2 cents. Similar bills are floating around the House and Senate that would round cash transactions up or down to multiples of 5 in order to eliminate the need for the penny in Washington state. This would be only for cash transactions. You'd still pay in non-round numbers for debit or credit purchases. The bills are in response to the Fed's choice to no longer make new pennies. So the ones we've got are the ones we've got. That's it. When is the last time you used a penny for anything? Do you leave them in the tip jar? Are you a take a penny or leave a penny gal?
I don't really have a lot of pennies. That's a lie. I have pennies and they're all in this jar that I swear I'm going to take to the store, and it's been years. But I did pay cash at a UPS store for something small, and it was something 26 cents, and I had a quarter, and it was this awkward moment between us where I'm like, is he going to offer his penny? So I'm glad that there's some legislation so we can have some understanding of the social interactions here.
Yeah.
I don't think this is a big deal. And this is how I know this, Rachel, because I go running a lot, and whenever you see a water fountain, it used to be you see a lot of pennies in the water fountains that people throw. If you go to water fountains now, there are hardly any pennies because people don't have pennies to throw in the water fountain.
Or they don't have wishes. No, just kidding.
Oh, no.
yeah.
Sorry, that took
Are
a
we
dark
out
turn.
of pennies or out of wishes? A representative from the Washington food industry says some restaurants around the state are already doing this and would love the backing from the state to make sure they're protected. Bill sponsor Senator Noel Frame took the opportunity to make the joke, take a penny, leave a penny. We're leaving the penny behind. Are you passionate about the 1 cent coin? Does it bother you when you get your pennies back? You keep them in a jar, Rachel. I do too. I have a real piggy bank.
Yeah, it doesn't bother me. No, I don't know. I was kind of reading about this, and I was wondering, it sounds like a logistical math nightmare to deal with the rounding and all that and closing your books. But Canada's already done it, so I think we can kind of take some lessons from them. But no, to your question, it doesn't bother me. I just don't have them.
Yeah.
Would you pick a penny up on the street even now?
I wouldn't even pick up a penny. And Rachel, going back to what you said, yeah, Canadians, they approved this in 2013. And it was like Y2K. It wasn't a big deal. No one cared about it, right? It wasn't like financial advisors were wagging their finger, lecturing you on compound interest or giving a spiel on a penny saved is a penny earned. Life just went as normal as ever in Canada.
Well, in this new world, if you're making a cash purchase, would it bother you if it was rounded up?
Going back to the Canadian experience, it was always rounded up, never rounded down. And it was always a nickel. There were a couple times it was a dime rounding up. And maybe that was just me because I was a tourist, but never down. Never down. No, it's never rounded down.
I don't think it would bother me. I think a couple cents. I think humans people are kind of used to that.
Well, and honestly, we've all been conditioned by that little thing. Take a penny,
Right.
leave a penny.
Right.
They're taking the penny sometimes, they're leaving the penny other times. All right, is the nickel going to become the new penny? And how long before we're just rounding up or down on dollars? That's an inflation question.
Yeah. I think we're a ways away from that because that would mean we'd have to round on the nearest 10 cents. And I think people still think of, like, if a bag is 10 cents at the grocery store, I still think about, do I need 3 of these? So I think we're a ways away from that.
Psychologically, emotionally,
yeah.
We haven't crossed that Rubicon. All right, moving on to our next topic. We're going to talk about some Olympic level endurance from one of our guests this week. Ton, you ate at the TNT Market Food Court in Bellevue for a year to rank your favorite dishes out of the 307 options they have available. This is the not so glamorous part of being a food writer. What was it like to have to go back to TNT so many times? And did you have a spreadsheet?
I don't have a spreadsheet. And I should say, this is the part of the show I like to call, this is a first world problem. And yes, I was like, there were many times I whined to colleagues, I cannot eat another dim sum dumpling. I cannot eat another roast chicken, like different flavors. They have mala and gosh know how many flavors. Because I've done this before with you guys. I've eaten 500 tacos, come here and talked about 100 banh mi's. Actually, 300 banh mi's, and I came here to talk about. But this was the worst because at least with banh mi's and tacos, I got to travel around the Sound. This is going to the same store every 2 weeks. And it got to a point, no joke, there was a stock person in training and she was lost, and I directed her to the right aisle when she was supposed to stop the snack. And that's when I knew this was like my second home, people. But yes, it was exhausting.
Did they see you coming?
They started knowing. They just assumed I was a big fan because, I'm not a secret shopper, but I'm just like, wow, he likes TNT a lot.
Rachel, do you have a restaurant where you could eat every single menu item?
I was thinking about my first job was a Hawaiian food place, so Max Salad, and I was poor, and I did eat only there. So I think my body's used to it. I'd probably do like a Buddha Bretta here. It's kind of the equivalent. So a little teriyaki chicken, sign me up.
That's a good place.
Yeah.
Canadian-based TNT Market opened up in Bellevue in December 2024, and the Linwood location opened up in November of this past year. Ton, as the foremost TNT expert, what about this market makes it so darn special?
Yeah. For listeners who don't know, let's go back here because Canada has a similar phenomenon. It's a Trader Joe's phenomenon where Canadians around Vancouver, they would drive to cross the border to buy stuff at Trader Joe's and hoard it back. Same here. A lot of Asians would go to cross the border, go to Richmond or Vancouver, buy dumplings and street food at TNT and bring it back. And so when TNT saw this phenomenon, that's when they opened a place in Bellevue. And it's been a big hit. So that's how it started. I wouldn't say TNT does any one dish better than any other restaurants or grocery store. But the fact is, it's like Chinatown under one roof. It's one-stop shop, right?
Yeah.
You want dumplings? You want crepes? You want mango cakes? Everything is within 10 feet. In any direction.
Yeah,
So
this
that's
is
why.
an entire journey, this place. There are live fish tanks. There's a huge food court. As you mentioned, hard to find Asian snacks. Rachel, from the business side, what is the draw of a premier supermarket like this?
Yeah, I haven't been, but from what you're describing, I think what you're seeing is it's not just a grocery store, it's an experience. You can taste, see, touch, see something you're not going to see at another grocery store. You mentioned Trader Joe's. They have their own unique experience, and people are willing to pay for something that they feel is worth it. So they're going to pay for something that's going to be a little bit more of a different experience, and then you also have that luxury feel, too, and I think that's still something that people are interested in.
Yeah, it's theater because people aren't going just to buy a carton of milk or something. You go and just hang out. High school kids, because I don't know, you can't go to a bar yet. They love hanging out at TNT food court because you just buy stuff, egg tarts, or you just take a lot of Instagram pictures.
Love it. Love it. All right, one last thing before we go about the last thing you do before you go. Friends and loved ones of a man from Anacortes learned of his passing with a postcard. Don Glickman wanted them to know. If you're reading this, I'm dead, and I really liked you. Oh. The words accompanied by a serious-looking selfie of Glickman in yellow aviator shades. He looks pretty cool. Glickman and his daughter came up with this idea for the postcard while he was in hospice. She sent out more than 100 of them to friends and former students, some of whom told the Washington Post it totally tracks with this guy's character. Very straightforward and a pretty funny guy. I think we all fret a little bit about the end. I see this as a brilliant gift from a person who didn't want to make a fuss about themselves, you know? How do you see this?
I used to be a military reporter in Macon, Georgia, because they learned a lesson from the Persian Gulf, and that is they would have in their will or tell their family to, hey, if I die, this is what I want you to do, appreciation of life. And one of them was saying that I want you to fly everyone on this list to Vegas on my own dime, do an open bar, and just celebrate my life. I don't want anyone to be sad. And to this day, every time I see a war, this is what I think about.
Don's daughter, Leah, says she's surprised by the response on social media and the responses she's gotten from friends of Don's. People have told her they're framing the postcard or saving it for a folder marked, "Do this when I die." Rachel, what would be the most you way to announce your death?
Well, here's the thing. I will be making a fuss about myself. And I want people to be really sad, but I also want them to be happy and laugh. So I probably would do something. I could pre-record a podcast, maybe you and I can do one. I could maybe plan my funeral in advance. I don't know. But one thing I was thinking about with this is, when you get a postcard or a Christmas card, you're like, oh, that's nice. And then you throw it away, but you kind of feel like a bad person. You can't throw this one away. They have to keep that, or else that's just a horrible thing. You can't throw that away.
You want to be haunted.
Yeah.
Put that thing in the compost, man.
This is so morbid. But it is Friday the 13th.
That's
this
right.
is freaking morbid.
That's right.
And we're going to leave it there. Ton Vinh is a Seattle Times food writer. Rachel Horgan hosts the weekly podcast. Thanks, Rachel.
Thank you.
Thanks, Ton.
Thanks, Trish, for having me.
Appreciate you listening to Seattle Now, and thanks to our generous donors for your support. Send us some love this week by rating and reviewing the show on your favorite podcast app. Today's episode was produced by Vaughn Jones. It was edited by Caroline Chamberlain Gomez. Our production team also includes Andy Hurst, Brooklyn Jamerson Flowers, and Paige Browning. Seattle Now and KUOW Public Radio are members of the NPR network. I'm Patricia Murphy. We're back tonight with Evening Headlines.